Welcome back, football fans. Today's video is packed with huge Real Madrid and Newcastle United news. From Arda Güler's surprise benching to Trent Alexander-Arnold's injury setback, we cover all the breaking updates from the Santiago Bernabéu. On top of that, Newcastle are preparing an ambitious January transfer window, with none other than Eduardo Camavinga linked to a sensational move. Could the French star really swap Madrid for the Premier League? Stay tuned as we break down team news, injuries, transfer rumors, and what it all means for the future of both clubs. A leading member of the midfield ranks at La Liga giants Real Madrid has on Saturday seen a long-running string of starts brought to an end. The player in question? Arda Güler. Real Madrid are of course primed to return to action in short order. Fresh off a 2-1 downing of Marseille in the club's Champions League opener in midweek, Los Blancos have turned attentions back towards matters on the domestic front. A La Liga meeting with Espanyol lies in wait at the Santiago Bernabéu. Amid what has been a busy last week following the international break, Xabi Alonso has opted to make a number of changes to his 11 for the evening. The likes of Dani Carvajal, Raúl Asensio and Vinicius Jr. have all stepped back into starting roles. Afforded a rare rest by way of a drop to the bench, on the other hand, is midfield starlet Arda Güler. Youngster Arda has established himself as one of the first names on the Real Madrid team sheet since the arrival of Xabi Alonso. In fact, dating back to the summer's Club World Cup, the Turk had featured from the off in all of Los Merengues' last 10 fixtures in all competitions. On Saturday though, Arda will watch on from the sideline, ready and waiting in reserve in the case of his talents being required during the second half. La Liga giants Real Madrid have officially announced the club's latest starting lineup, to take on Getafe. And it features a number of noteworthy inclusions and exclusions alike. Real Madrid are of course primed to return to action in short order. Turning focus back towards matters on the domestic front, Los Blancos have welcomed Getafe to Spain's capital for a La Liga clash. Xabi Alonso's troops head into the matchup fresh off keeping alive their flawless start to the campaign in midweek, at the expense of Olympique Marseille. And as alluded to above, in efforts to make it 6 wins from 6 on Saturday evening, Real will take to the pitch making use of a new-look 11. The headline inclusion comes up top, where Gonzalo Garcia is afforded his first start of the term. Elsewhere, also stepping in are the likes of Dani Carvajal, Raúl Asensio and notably Vinicius Jr. Check out Real Madrid's lineup to face Espanyol at the Santiago Bernabéu in full below. If one thing has been consistent for Real Madrid over the last few years, it's injuries. Not a season has gone by where the club hasn't suffered a long-term injury to a key player in the squad, causing the coach to rely on squad players he wouldn't normally call on. From knee injuries to shoulder injuries to muscle injuries, there is always someone in the squad sidelined with an injury, and given Real Madrid's luck, it's always a key player in the starting lineup that the team now has to play without, which costs the team key results. Just when it looked like Real Madrid were finally getting some relief on the injury front, another setback has arrived. Fans had barely begun celebrating the returns of Jude Bellingham and Eduardo Camavinga before the bad news hit. Yet another key player has gone down. According to Arantxa Rodriguez of Deportes Cope, Trent Alexander-Arnold is now expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks after suffering a hamstring injury during Real's 2-1 Champions League win over Marseille. The Englishman was forced off just 5 minutes into the match, with Dani Carvajal taking his place. While it may not be the absolute worst-case scenario, losing Trent this early in the season is far from ideal. Real Madrid now face yet another frustrating injury blow right when they were starting to get their squad back in shape. Trent has had a somewhat up-and-down start to his Real Madrid career. He's had a mix of great performances as well as some disappointing ones. Xabi Alonso has been rotating Trent and Dani Carvajal every game this season, trying to see which fits his system better. And now, being expected to be sidelined for as long as 8 weeks, he could face an uphill battle to get back into the starting lineup. Real Madrid had big plans when they signed Trent Alexander-Arnold this summer, with the 26-year-old seen as the long-term heir to Dani Carvajal, who is now 33. The Englishman was expected to gradually take over the right-back role, but this new injury means his adaptation in Madrid won't be smooth. Trent will have to fight through a difficult spell before he can rediscover the top form he consistently showed at Liverpool. Meanwhile, over in England, Newcastle United are planning bold moves of their own. After cashing in on Alexander Isak's blockbuster transfer to Liverpool, worth up to €130 million, the Magpies are ready to reinvest some of that money. Reports from Spain suggest that Newcastle are targeting 2 Real Madrid players, with Eduardo Camavinga at the top of their list. According to Fishages, the Premier League side have already joined the bidding for the French midfielder, seeing him as a major piece for their ambitious project. The Magpies are considering the 22-year-old as a key reinforcement for its ambitious project, but his stay at Real Madrid remains a priority for Xabi Alonso, who has assured that he will keep the player despite offers in the summer of 2025. The report adds, the player's entourage has also confirmed his desire to continue at the White Club, where he has the opportunity to compete for elite titles that Newcastle has not yet guaranteed. Madrid values Camavinga at €80 million, a high price, but one in line with his level and potential. The report continues, Real Madrid is cautiously assessing the South American striker's situation. At Chamartin, they know Endrick needs to grow on the pitch and that a lack of consistency could hinder the progress of a player who arrived with high expectations. The prospects for a winter transfer window departure are beginning to gain strength. A loan would allow Endrick to gain experience and return more mature, with the confidence that only comes from playing week after week. Newcastle's ambition tested with Camavinga interest. Caught offside report that Newcastle United are among the clubs monitoring Eduardo Camavinga's situation at Real Madrid, with Chelsea and Manchester United also keen. The midfielder, valued at around €80 million, has seen his role altered under new manager Xabi Alonso, and that has opened the door for possible Premier League suitors. Camavinga's changing role in Madrid. At only 22, Camavinga has already built a reputation as one of Europe's brightest midfielders. He has been used both in defensive midfield and at left back, displaying versatility that makes him attractive to several top clubs. Yet, as the original report highlights, the Frenchman is not necessarily definitely heading for the Madrid exit, but his situation has changed under new manager Xabi Alonso. That shift appears significant. Madrid's depth in midfield means Camavinga could find minutes harder to come by, something that may weigh heavily on his decision-making if he wishes to maintain regular game time. Premier League rivals lining up. Chelsea have been strongly linked. According to the report, Chelsea in particular are thought to have a concrete and genuine interest in him. With Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez already in their squad, Camavinga would not be guaranteed a starting spot, but his presence would add balance and much-needed depth, especially after the struggles of Romeo Lavia. Manchester United are also monitoring developments and could view Camavinga as an alternative to Carlos Baleba of Brighton. Their midfield has lacked cohesion, and a dynamic presence like the Frenchman could transform their engine room. Newcastle's potential game-changer. For Newcastle United, this is about ambition as much as ability. Camavinga represents the type of elite-level signing that signals intent. Newcastle might also be a tempting option for him if he wants to ensure he's playing regularly and moving on to another ambitious project, the report states. St. James' Park has already witnessed the arrival of international stars since the new ownership came in, but Camavinga would be a different statement entirely. His age, pedigree and Champions League experience tick every box for a project designed to break into the game's elite. Champions League factor. The biggest challenge is convincing Camavinga that Newcastle is the right step for his career. As noted, one imagines they'd need to keep on qualifying for the Champions League to convince him it would be the right move. Regular participation in Europe's top competition would provide the platform to attract and retain players of Camavinga's stature. For now, the interest is there, the price tag is steep, and the competition is fierce. Yet Newcastle's emergence as a genuine contender in these conversations underlines just how far they have come. Our view EPL Index Analysis. From a Newcastle fan's perspective, this is exactly the type of transfer link that gets pulses racing. Eduardo Camavinga is not just another young talent, he is already proven at the very highest level with Real Madrid in France. To think that he could be lining up at St. James' Park alongside Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali is a thrilling prospect. There will be skepticism, of course, particularly when Chelsea and Manchester United are in the same conversation. Their financial resources are vast and their European history still carries weight. However, Newcastle's project has momentum. The supporters, the stadium atmosphere, and the long-term vision all play a part in making the club an attractive proposition. For many fans, the Champions League qualification point is crucial. Without consistent top four finishes, the chance of landing Camavinga diminishes. Yet if the Magpies can continue to compete at that level, then dreams of seeing players of his caliber in black and white are not so far-fetched. This link shows that Newcastle are no longer bystanders in transfer windows. They are in the mix for some of the game's brightest stars, and Camavinga would represent a signing that could alter the trajectory of the club for years to come. And that's the latest from Real Madrid and Newcastle United. With injuries piling up at Madrid and Premier League giants circling Camavinga, the football world is watching closely. Newcastle's ambition in the transfer market shows just how far they've come, while Los Blancos continue to chase glory despite setbacks. What do you think, football fans? Should Camavinga stay at Real Madrid, or would Newcastle be the perfect move for him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the latest football news, transfer updates, and match analysis.